Oh my gosh, it is 1,000 degrees in here. Holy cow. So yeah, summer's back, and oh my gosh, it just kicked down the door and said, hey, I'm here. I got all the doors shut, all the windows shut, and I've got the fan off because I can't have audio interference and all that, so I'm gonna die. And it's about to get hotter in here because I'm reviewing my own short film. Why would that make it hotter? I don't know. So get some popcorn, get a cold drink, cover yourself in 6,000 layers of ice if you're anywhere near where I am. Let's get into this. So last week we were talking about the Santa Barbara Film Festival earlier this year. I had a film submitted as part of the 10-10-10 film competition. I wrote a 10-page script. It got made into a 10-page movie by someone from UCSB who I was paired up with. Had a fun time. I've got more details on that whole experience on the first part, on the part 1 video that I made about a week ago. Had a good time writing it. Had kind of a weird time figuring out how all of it was going to translate onto screen, and then I kind of sort of met Christopher Lloyd, except embarrassed myself and blew that opportunity. I don't know. We got all that in the part 1 video. For right now, we're talking about this short film. Did it come out like we planned it out in the script? Did it come out good? I guess that's the bigger, more important question. Well, we're back to reviewing short films again, something I want to really keep as a staple to this channel. If you haven't seen it already, link in the description. I would love to put a card right here, except YouTube won't let Vimeo links go on there for some stupid reason. I don't know, it would make things so much easier. So look in the description if you haven't already seen the video. Click on that, check out the video because we're going full spoilers here. 2017 10-10-10 competition finalist, You, Me, and Me. Let's look at this thing. So the film opens up with Come On Eileen by Dexy Midnight Runners. Yes, I did have to Google that. These 80s one-hit wonders, man, I don't even know. But Leah, the director who I got paired up with, she talked about how she really wanted to get that retro feel with this film, both with the color palette and with the music choice. Why? I don't know. We had a couple Back to the Future jokes in the script, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out this year, and I mean, it looked cool. I can't complain. It looks cool. It's better to have a style that works than to not have a style at all, I guess. She went for it, and I think it paid off. So anyway, we got Julie coming down the streets. She's going to her bus stop, and by the way, Julie is one of those names that for whatever reason always ends up in my scripts for some reason. It's like Julie, Carlos, and then Jerry. It's just those names, for whatever reason. I always keep shuffling through those character names. Carlos the most of all, because that's for whatever reason. Whenever I'm writing a Hispanic character, for whatever reason. I'm like, Jose? No, that's too obvious. And just, it keeps coming back to Carlos. I don't know. You'll probably notice that. Sorry, weird tangent. Let's actually get into the movie now. So Sam watches Julie go through her morning routine through the window. Creepily. But it's not creepy. It's charming, because it's the main character, you see. That's how this works.
Like clockwork. Alright. Let's do it.
And then we get this cool Edgar Wright's sequence. I think like a lot of things in this movie, it probably should have gone by a little faster. Just would have liked a little more punch to that sequence, but again, what works with the Edgar Wright transition thing is not how it works at one particular point in time. It's the repetition of it, it's the rhythm of constantly going back to that suit up thing and kind of making like mundane things feel intense. I don't know, it could have been better, but it really does work for this film. I feel like they did a good job getting that little part of it.
Take a risk. Take a risk, yeah. Take a risk. Ask her out. No. It's gonna be a disaster. That's right, you got this. You got this.
Man, this is my favorite part of Taxi Driver. So Sam is hyping himself up to go talk to Julie when something very strange happens.
Oh! Smooth. Who are you? You just spent a good 2 minutes looking in the mirror. Who do I look like?
So Sam meets himself from 6 years in the future, and first off I just want to point out that Michael Calamus, he did a great job playing both of these roles. I think it's Calamus, again, terrible with names. By the way, Leah Belich, I think it's Belich, like Belichick. That was a big struggle in the first video. If I'm wrong there too, I give up. I don't know how to say this name. Sorry, tangent. Back on point here. Michael did a great job really making these two roles feel different, even though they're supposed to be the same person. Like, that's a really hard thing to pull off, and I don't think he nailed every single line that was laid out there.
So this is what you traveled through time and space to tell me.
But I think he did a really, really good job at bringing life to these two characters, and I just pat on the back for him. He did a great job with this. I distinctly remember the auditions for this were just brutal, because we couldn't find someone who could pull off playing two characters at once. You nailed this. It was great. Also, this shot right here, this is It's a really good way to sell that effect that they're in the same place at once. Some clever camera work in this.
That's my second guess.
I don't have a lot of time. I came back to tell...
What's with this?
Right. No Shave November. It's mandatory now. Trump thought it would unite the country.
Trump jokes. Oh, gosh. Ugh. Even back then, I could not escape shooting fish in a barrel, and now it's just, oh gosh. I'll take the L for that one.
And I am. But look at me. You can't ask Julie out.
What?
I know it seems like a good idea now, but she breaks your heart down the line. It's really brutal. You're gonna stay put?
Fine.
Great. Perfect. We're not gonna regret this. Honey, it's 9 o'clock!
Wait, literally or?
No!
Clock jokes. I'm actually incredibly proud of that. Please leave nice comments below. It took me like a week to work that joke out. Please don't. Oh my gosh.
No! To the left of the bus stop. Hot brunette.
Actually, she's more of a strawberry blonde, which is, if I know my hair colors correctly, which is interesting because the original line in the script was hot redhead at 10 o'clock. And I would have understand if they're like, okay, we have to change it because we can't get an actress who's a redhead. But you got an actress who is a strawberry blonde, which is close enough to where nobody would have said anything. They're like, oh yeah, she's kind of ginger. Which is weird that you would change the line for that to make it incorrect. I would say, okay, well maybe she's actually more of a brunette, and then it's just the lighting in the shot. But Julie is a brunette. Which is really weird, because then he's saying, hey, stop looking at the brunette and look at that brunette who is actually a strawberry blonde. This is a very weird tangent to go on. It's just... this very weird plot hole in a movie about time travel. In a movie about time travel, hair color is the plot hole that we're gonna... Oh man. Sorry. Back to the movie. So Sam is told to check out this other girl because he needs a fresh start and because her dad is gonna own the LA Rams in a couple months. And benefits. So he's like, hey, give her these chocolates. And then that doesn't work out.
Damn! What the hell? Are you stupid? Do you see the expiration date? Those chocolates were at least 3 years old.
This was your plan!
And it was a stupid plan.
Again, another thing I was pretty proud of, that setup. We worked a while on it. You'd be surprised how much time we went over talking about what specific candy we had to give her in order for that to make sense in the context of the story.
Look. We need a fresh start. Fresh start. Fresh start. Nothing's even happened yet. Listen, the whole thing was stupid. And Julie's stupid. Diana. Do you remember Diana?
No, sorry, not that Diana. If I had known that movie was gonna work out, I absolutely would have tried to fit in a reference to that. So Sam goes on that beach date with Diana.
Sam! What? What now? We killed her, Sam. We killed her.
Ah, super relatable, guys, am I right? So after accidentally getting Diana killed, he goes out with his sister. And they both die. Just kidding, they both survive, but she goes bald. That's...
Hey, are you kidding me? We make it out alive, but she goes bald!
Really, really clunky line that I put in there. Of all the things that got cut out of the film, I'm really surprised they didn't cut that line out. So many little details that I would have liked to have been in there, and then this one that's like, in hindsight, I completely blew. That just... oh well. Sorry guys, that's my fault. So this is a really stupid thing to say. My thought process on that was that if I have the punchline be, oh, they die again, then that would feel kind of repetitive, but the punchline isn't, oh, they die, it's that, oh, this is escalating. The consequences of him messing with time are getting bigger and bigger, and so there's no need to have this weird thing where, like, they live but she goes bald or whatever. It's funnier if they're just like, oh, yeah, massive explosion. You made it out to tell the tale, but, I mean, whatever. Also, these two shots. Holy cow, this is hilarious.
Oh!
Some good visual comedy right there. I mean, nailed it. First, obviously, the lead into the montage, that look right there, it's great. But also, a little bit more subtle. You might not have noticed it, but your brain did. That sort of thing. Get that ominous shadow on the clock. This is like a dramatic, like, almost horror movie shot right here. Right in front of a fun kind of montage just shows like how awful this whole situation is for Sam anyway. Honestly, this is exactly the sort of thing I would have wanted to fit in there. It's just, oh my gosh, when you think about it in in that sort of context, like it's just awesome. Also, Dancing with Myself by Billy Idol, it's a little on the nose as far as song selection. Kind of dip it into the Suicide Squad school of obvious music choices. But hey, it works. Again, like a couple of things in this movie. It's cheesy, but it works. And I like it. Also, these are supposed to be alternate versions of Sam, and I don't know what any of them are supposed to represent. They clearly had fun making this scene, or designing this scene, but like, don't ask me what it's supposed to mean. Seriously, what am I supposed to think from this? So I guess this is from the future where he joins Chippendale Rescue Rangers. And then there's the one where he's Biff Tannen from Back to the Future Part 2. And there's a couple other ones. And then he's Jesus here for some reason. What even, like, okay, I guess then the montage ends. Alright.
Just shut up! I'm gonna make sure that you don't exist.
What?
That legitimately gets me every single time. Like, we were talking in pre-production about all the sorts of visual gags you could have going on with time travel and with alternate realities and all that. This is one of my favorite visual gags, just that little exchange there. It's not like a well-constructed joke, like I'm gonna make sure you don't exist, he looks weird, but I mean, like, it just gets me every time. The timing of it is perfect. So Sam goes out and decides, hey, I'm gonna make sure you don't exist. He's gonna go out and make his first initial mistake by asking Julie out. Then future Sam disappears. Sam goes outside, talks to Julie. Then future Sam reappears, along with future Julie. They talk about some stuff. I'm just gonna let this scene play out for you.
I knew I'd find you here.
I was so nervous.
You were fine. I mean, too much deodorant, definitely, but I thought you were cute.
I had no idea what I was getting into.
Did you try to change his mind?
Wouldn't work. I really liked you.
Would you do it again?
Every time. Every time.
So that was You, Me, and Me, and we close out with Under Pressure by David Bowie and Queen. And again, another little bit on-the-nose music thing, someone constantly being under pressure, constantly being under stress in this film, but it works. All three of these songs work in the movie, even though two of them are a little on the nose, I guess? I don't know. It's only noticeable when you really, like, stop and think about it for long periods of time, or nitpick in this case, as I have to do for the review show. So how does You, Me, and Me work as a film? As if I had not written this, if I had not poured months of work into making sure this story worked, completely separated as a movie, what do I think of it? Well, it's a little easier to distance myself from it when it's not exactly what I wrote down. In fact, I'll talk about it in a minute, but there's a big chunk of it that got changed. But as a movie, as someone who is not a nitpicking writer, going into the theater, being like, okay, is my baby being taken care of here? As just a casual audience member watching it, I like this movie a lot. It's got some neat themes, the concept, oh my gosh, this is me as a normal person. This is not Troy Wilbrandt complimenting Troy Wilbrandt. This is a random person complimenting the creators of You, Me, and Me. Both Troy Wilbrandt and the director and all these people in the credits. I think the concept was neat. I think the main actors did a pretty good job. I think obviously there are budget constraints, but based on the fact that it was done in 10 days, you can kind of forgive little errors. There weren't big continuity errors or anything, any massive like things as far as production quality to point out. Aside from it generally looking kind of low, a little bit on the low budget ends, just because of how much time was allotted for this. Aside from that, production quality is fantastic. Story works. The ending doesn't completely, totally like get past fridge logic, as people like to call it. Fridge logic is sort of that thing like the idea is you turn off the movie, you go back, you go get something from the fridge, you get a cold drink or something, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. I guess that doesn't really make any sense. And you kind of work through your mind certain plot holes and stuff. Like, why would Julie show up again at the end? Like, are they friends in the future? But then Sam kind of said that she was gonna break your heart or something. So, I mean, like, did he get friend-zoned or something? What's the deal there? Although, in talking about it out loud, I basically just rewrote the theory and made it okay again. Oh well. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's a perfect movie, and I don't mean that in like, there is no such thing as a perfect movie. I don't think it's the highest quality that can be, but I think it's pretty solid. So on my rating scale for short films, I'm giving this, it's not quite Smoothie on a Sunday morning, but it is popcorn on a rainy day. It is nice. A rainy day sounds really good right now. Holy cow, I am drenched. It is so hot in here. I had a great time with it, and I think, again, it's pushing towards Smoothie on a Sunday morning. It is very close. I'm excited to see what these writers and directors do in the future, wink. Anyway, back to me being me again, being the writer of this movie. Let's talk really briefly about kind of the end of the movie and where it kind of cuts off. First off, actually before I even talk about the ending, I just want to say, you know that thing where the explosion thing kind of pops up out of nowhere where they're like, oh yeah, also there's an explosion. Well, there was a setup for that in the original script. There's kind of a thing where Future Sam, the first time he shows up, he's about to go away, and he's like, okay, I can only be here for, I think it was 2 minutes. 2 minutes was the amount of time that he could be there. So the whole idea was that, like, at the very end of him telling him, hey, don't talk to Julie, he's like, oh, also, super important, you gotta remember, this is a matter of life and death, don't, and then he gets dragged out. And then when he shows up again later, it'll be like, there's something really important you had to tell me. He's like, oh, really? Yeah, you said it was a matter of life and death? I have no idea what you're talking about. And that would have added a lot to kind of setting up for the explosion. It didn't break the movie, just I thought that would have been funny to kind of have that set up and pay off there. Anyway, the ending of this film. So both the script and the movie have everything coming up to the point where the montage happens and Sam says, stop. What changes is that in this version, Sam says, okay, I'm done. I have resolved the problem. The problem has been resolved. In my head, I've decided I'm gonna go talk to Julie. In the script version, there's a little bit more of an elongated ending to it. Sam has gone crazy. This whole short film was based loosely on that Jillian Smith video, You in 5 Minutes. And there was a point near the very end where they didn't really know how to resolve it, and so one of them just gets lightning powers and starts shooting everyone, and they're like, I don't really want to talk about what happens. Obviously, you can't do that because that's not a satisfying story. But my idea was, let's ratchet it up a little bit more, just take it a little bit more to Crazy Town before we bring everyone back down. Just get some hilarious anarchy in here before we have to wrap it up and have everyone arrive at their conclusions. So Sam, in the middle of being told, okay, you gotta change this, he grabs a kitchen knife and he's like, I'm done taking orders from you, I'm gonna kill you right now. And they're about to start fighting, and we get my favorite line I've ever written. I know it's got a swear in it, so I mean, the line is, heed my wisdom, you little, which the joke is not, haha, he said a bad word. The joke is, okay, there's a juxtaposition between all through the movies, like, hey, I'm old and wise, and then he said something very not old and wise. So just wordplay, just that little thing of like, heed my wisdom, followed up by that. I don't know, just, I thought it was a fun line, although it would have taken it from the PG rating we got to the PG-13 rating. I don't know. Yeah, so they're about to fight, they're about to kill each other, and then future Julie shoots into the room, talking about all that happens amongst him messing with the past. And then we get both future Julie and future Sam in the same room with regular Sam, and they're arguing, and that is when Sam discovers the truth. Future Sam was kind of exaggerating when he said that she broke his heart. The fact is, they were about to get engaged for about 5 years, but he was really indecisive and really just kind of wasn't really sure about life and wasn't brave enough to make choices. And so he left her hanging for a long period of time, and him being the self-absorbed person that he was, kind of took that as, oh, okay, great, sure, whatever, I guess you're obnoxious and you're leaving me. Instead of Sam being presented with all the stress of second-guessing everything and being like, okay, this is annoying, I'm just gonna live my life, he's presented with looking to the future and saying, okay, these horrible things about me aren't gonna change unless I change them. It has this little brief speech, sort of like what was said here, where he said, you're me, you're absolutely 100% me, and that is terrible. I'm gonna make sure you don't exist because I need to do something. And also he says like, oh hey, Julie also seems really awesome, like just meeting her, the future version of her here, and they kind of have a moments, future Julie and present Sam, where she's like, hey, here's a tip on how to really make a good first impression with me, go get him, Tiger. Go get me, Tiger, which is also another kind of fun line I wish I'd made it in the movie. But the big difference is that it's about getting the girl, and she's a great girl, but also, if he doesn't do this, he is doomed to be the same person and have the same flaws years from now, because this stuff doesn't just go away. If people don't act, stuff doesn't flaws don't go away with time, I guess was the main thing I was trying to get across with that. And Sam goes outside, future Sam disappears because he no longer exists, and then Sam and Julie are talking to each other. We still get the same perspective from behind the window, and we don't really hear what they're talking about, but future Julie is watching them, and then future Sam shows up, and he's the new version of Sam. He's the Sam that they got married because they actually did like each other, that whole thing worked out, and he's more confident about himself, and he remembers all of this. And so he comes back and is like, hey, I'm sorry about all this, and she's like, oh, don't worry, it technically never happened. And so we get all those same, hopefully all those same feels that we got from this ending, but then also we leave off on just a quick little thing like, oh, hey, you don't think we messed with the fabric of time and space or anything like that? You don't think we had like the butterfly effect or something? You get the feeling something horrible is about to happen? And then Julie looks over at Sam, and Sam's like, nah, I think we're totally fine. And then Sam is completely blue, and Julie looks down at her hands, and they're like webbed, and like, oh, okay then. She leans on his shoulder, and that's the end of the movie. So they give you a fun little note to leave off on. Just leave them with a joke. Considering the beard budget we got, I don't know if webbed hands was gonna be in the budget, but something like that. I mean, her also being blue or something, just something kind of funny to like reference the butterfly effect and reference like them messing with time that much would have been funny. But like I said, these two endings go for two different things and have different messages. My ending went a little bit more for comedy, but it was also more about Sam as a character. Even though in the end he does get the girl, it's more about him realizing his flaws and realizing the pain that it causes people and realizing that that doesn't go away. He has to fix that today so that he doesn't deal with this tomorrow. Whereas in the film version, it was more about doing stuff even if it hurts. Keep on dreaming even if it breaks your heart. Oh, I can hear it. Which I think those both are kind of good lessons in life. One is saying, hey, fix your problems today, don't put it off till tomorrow, because tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes next month, and that becomes decades. And one says, hey, sometimes stuff in life has to happen for you to learn and for you to grow as a person. You have to take your licks in order to do stuff, and even if it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean the people that came across you in life are less valuable because they hurt you. I don't know. Even saying that out loud, that seems like a really kind of good message to get across. Obviously, I'm gonna prefer the version that I wrote because that's what I had in mind when I wrote these characters. But if someone said, hey, I prefer the film version, it made me feel things, and also I like that message, I can't argue with you on that, because that's also, I think Lee did a good job with her version. On paper, it sounded super stupid. I'm not even gonna front. Just the version where he's just suddenly like, oh, okay, problem solved, I don't like you, I'm gonna fix this. It sounded really stupid on paper, but when I actually got to see it on screen and thinking about it for a long time, like, okay, yeah, I guess that works as an ending. I prefer mine, but I mean, I like it. I've grown to appreciate it. So anyway, I asked you guys if you had any questions on the movie. I got 2 questions back. None of them on the video, all of them on the aux cable not forum thing. I had to go to a forum for a podcast in order to get some responses for this. I love you guys. I love the comments you leave, but where were the comments last time? Where'd they go? I miss you so. So Mason M, basically in a couple different questions, just asked, hey, how do you think it turned out compared to the script? Was it what you were imagining? Do you like it? And essentially, this whole review is one big answer to that, but to sum it up, yeah, I think it captured the spirit of the script, I guess. I feel like with 10 minutes, it's so tightly compact that if you change 3 things about the film, it changes the entire meaning of everything and the character arcs and where they go. So it is different, and I feel like I do want to try and do something similar to this script at some point later on down the line. I feel like enough change to where I can change some things around and be like, oh, hey, here's a completely different story with similar arcs and themes and stuff later on down the line that I'll make for a different thing. Maybe I'll direct it myself, who knows? But as far as making it entertaining and getting the physical comedy down and getting just making an entertaining movie that had a message that I could get behind, I feel like did a great job with that. I feel like the characters came off the screen about as well as they could. I mean, really, for what we were looking to do, I think great acting in this movie. So those are my compacted thoughts on how it translated over. And then Dawn asked, what's the deal with the 3 clocks? You notice there's 1 over there, and then there's 2 on the wall. Well, I think the reason we had so many shots of clocks in this movie was just because we were really, really being super cheeky about it. We had the film start out at 9:50 and the bus leaves at 10 10 o'clock for 10-10-10. It's a 10-minute short film, and so the entire short film takes place in real time, and we're able to do that because of all the jumping around through time stuff. I don't know, we thought that was a nice little Easter egg to throw in there. That's, I'm glad that she actually did put that in the film, because I thought that was kind of clever, and just the right amount of aren't we so clever? just pretty tongue-in-cheek of us to go with that. But as for why there's 3 clocks in there, you see, Dawn, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Sorry. No more Linkin Park references. I'm gonna give you the totally serious answer here. Okay, so these 3 clocks, what it meant to me is a memory of a time when I tried so hard. Anyway, oh gosh, this is such a terrible way to end the film. We got 1 comment from the last video. 1 single solitary comment. You can stop watching right now, guys. This is the end of the review. I just want to say, we got 1 single solitary comment last time. It was, The First Shall Be Last by Exploding East. Also, Chris retired that comment a while ago, so this is a dead comment. This is a dead meme. I'm terribly sorry. Quick moment for the First Shall Be Last comment. Look at this photograph. Yeah, that's all. Those are all the times I posted it on here. R.I.P. one of the greatest memes Chris has ever created. We'll see what he comes up with next. Anyway, that was the short film review. I just gave you permission to leave if you already hadn't. But anyway, so what did you guys think? Do you guys like the film? Do you guys think I'm super nitpicky and should stop complaining about a film that came out actually pretty well? What did you think of the script? I don't know how I would, but I feel like I might try to find some way to show off the script itself and show off the ending line for line. If there's any possible way to do that, I don't know. If there is, I'll think of something. If you guys are interested in that, I'll think of something. Anyway, aside from that, you guys have any short films you want me to look at? Did you guys make anything cool? Let me know all about that in the comments below. I say let me know about it, and I do actually read them. I enjoy it when you guys leave comments, both because they're fun to read and also because they help you get noticed more. It's more content activity. But just to show that it's not all about me getting more popular, I'm adding a new segment to the end of the show. Kind of want to show some appreciation for you guys that leave comments, because I appreciate good comments. I'm a huge fan of the Yai series that Jax Films does. I have been on there twice. I take commenting very seriously. I'm often the one who comments on other people's videos, but when I get some cool comments on my videos, I want to have some acknowledgement for that. So there's been a bunch throughout the history of this channel. So there will be a new segment at the end of every video called Comments of the Week, or in this case it's Comments of the Week, because I want to kind of cover some ground here, because over the history of this channel, there have been some great comments, so I'm going to do 2 today. First off, just want to give a shout out to this one by Man E. Kerr from the Fast and Furious super legit review that I did. He says, "This is the only review of this movie that I trust." Alright, very good, very good. Well memed, sir. Thank you. Man E. Kerr is, he's a great channel. Seriously, he recently got shouted out by Say Goodnight Kevin for good reason. Like, he makes great content. I'm gonna post a card here because I can, because he's not on Vimeo. Fix that, YouTube. Please let me post to other websites. But since I can, there's the thing to Manny Kerr's channel. It's gone by now because I've spent too much time on this rant, and now I'm just doing wild hand gestures. Other comments I'm looking at was from the Obi-Wan Kenobi Let's Make the Obi-Wan Spin-Off movie at Jax Productions 33. He said, "Dude, your channel is criminally underrated. I found you through Kevin's channel recently, and I love this channel, dude. Keep up the great work." I really appreciate it, man. Criminally underrated. That's just, it's the best compliment you can give. Nothing quite brings a smile to a content creator's face quite like the image of someone being arrested for not watching your videos. It's just, beautiful. In all seriousness, guys, you're the best. These aren't all gonna be compliments. If you guys can think of if you guys are gonna roast me in a funny way, like, great, I'll acknowledge that. Be funny, be insightful, leave something, I don't know. You guys are good at what you do, so do that. This was a long outro. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way through this. Oh gosh, it is 1 in the morning and I am soaking wet. I'm gonna take a shower. But until next time, guys, God bless and stay saucy.